So Jeff Flake is a right-winger through and through, and he's also spoken out against Donald Trump. He's the retiring Republican senator from Arizona. And he said some pretty harsh things about Trump, which Trump has amply earned. But he still voted for the tax cuts. He still votes with Trump on an overwhelming majority of the time. So he's not your friend. But he did have some straight talk, if you will. Makes sense coming out of Arizona, I suppose. They asked him if the Republicans continue in Trump and Bannon's direction, could they lose the Senate? He said, most definitely. You look at the audience, audiences cheering for Republicans sometimes. You look out there and say, those are the spasms of a dying party. Interesting. I'm going to let him continue here, and then I'll fill in what he might mean by that. He says, when you look at the lack of diversity sometimes, and it depends on where you are, obviously, but by and large, we're appealing to older white men, and there are just a limited number of them, and anger and resentment are not a governing philosophy. So he's literally right about that. When you look at the demographic information, it is not a pretty picture for the Republicans. Only the corporate Democrats could find a way to lose to Republicans in elections that appear to be not losable. When you look at the demographics and the policy issues. More important than that, Americans agree with progressives on almost every issue by wide margins. You'd be hard pressed to find an issue that Americans don't agree with progressives on. Like, oh yeah, immigration, what about immigration? Build a wall. No, did you know that 93% of Americans believe in a pathway to citizenship? So overwhelming numbers. They want some sort of immigration reform, and pathway to citizenship is overwhelmingly popular. So even in Alabama, in that Doug Jones-Roy Moore race, people under the age of 45 in one of the reddest states in the country, over 60% of them voted for the Democrat if they were under the age of 45. Tick-tock, tick-tock. So, and Flake, to his credit, also had earlier said that servility to Trump is, quote, morally treasonable. Apparently, servility to Trump in voting for tax cuts for the rich, perfectly fine, but otherwise is morally treasonable. Well, all that is my agreements and disagreements with Jeff Flake and fairly normal stuff. The most important thing is, what will a guy like Flake do if Mueller finds information about Trump? What will the rest of the Republicans do? Because that will be the decision point for what is going to happen in this country. Either we're going to have tremendous turmoil and rip this country apart in terms of the Republicans saying, we're going to allow law breaking and we're going to let the president be above the law. And that would be terrifying. And we could literally lose our form of government. It's not an exaggeration. If the Republicans say, no, politically, we're just going to let the president break the law. That would be unprecedented and horrifying. So those Republicans do have an important decision to make at one point. And now Donald Trump is talking about firing Mueller before we get there because he knows he's guilty. So Flake had a response to that. He said, I don't think that would go over well at all here in the Senate. I don't think he'll go there. He shouldn't go there. Well, I'm not as confident as Senator Flake on how the Republicans will react if Trump obstructs justice further by firing Mueller, or the people who, or firing Rod Rosenstein so that he'll get a new deputy attorney general who will fire Robert Mueller. I hope that Flake is right on this instance and that the Republicans in the Senate will stand up to Donald Trump and say, if you do that, we are going to impeach you. You sure they're going to go that way? I don't think anybody's sure that they're going to go that way. There's a good sign. At least there's one guy saying it's unacceptable for now. But if we're relying on the moral fiber of the Republican Party, God help us all. But that might be the situation we're in soon. If you want to get the whole Young Turks show every single day, become a member, tytnetwork.com/join. And once you do, you'll be saying,
you know, I'm like a smart person.
Or you might say,
I think it's weird.
Or you might say,
oops.
No, that won't be that one. It won't be that one. It'll be great, trust me. tytnetwork.com/join.